In supervised learning, we give labeled data to our machine, like we give input as well as output to the machine, so that the machine learns on what kind of inputs, what output it should generate. Like if I was giving example of cows, so I will give each and every detail about a cow. Like if it has four legs, two ears, two horns, one tail. So now the machine knows that it's a cow. So when I give a prompt like a photo of dog, so it will understand that it does not have horns, so it's not a cow, it is something else. So similarly, we are giving each and every input and output labeled to the machine, so that it improves its accuracy and minimize the error. So now when it starts making good progress, we give unseen data to machine as a machine. Like I just gave example of a dog. So while training the data, we give while training I will give inputs as cows only. But now when the machine has learned and have improved its accuracy, I will give other kinds of animals for input, so that my machine can clearly tell what is cow and what is not. Okay, so tell me if it is clear now and I should move ahead. There was no disturbance. I should move ahead. Okay. So now how a supervised machine learning works. So first of all, we give training data. Like the model is provided with a training data set that includes input data, that is feature, and corresponding output data, that is labeled or target variables. Like you can see in the picture that we have labeled data. Like there are pictures of cows, elephants, camels, and then we label the data. Then comes the learning process. The algorithm process the training data, learn learning the relationship between the input features and the output labels. This is achieved by adjusting model's parameter to minimize the difference between its prediction and actual label. So the algorithm learns the relationship between the data and its output. This was the whole summary, whatever was written over there. Like the parameters I told you, like four legs, two horns. So it will have adjust all the parameters accordingly, and will uh, understand what was unique in each and everything. Like the cow doesn't have a trunk, or the camel doesn't have a trunk or doesn't have horns. So it will categorize each and everything. The algorithm will process everything on its own. So it's said after training the model, it the model is evaluated using test data set to measure its accuracy and performance. Then the model's performance is optimized by adjusting parameters and using techniques like cross validation to balance bias and variance. This ensures the model generalizes well to new and unseen data. So I told you that we give test data set. That means the data is divided into test data set and training data set. So after the training is done, the testing data is given to the machine, and according to its accuracy and performance, the performance is, performance is optimized by validating and balancing the bias and variance. So what is bias and variance? So bias can be categorized as errors. Like bias is the error introduced by the approximating a real world problem by a simplified model. Like anything error is generated, it is called bias. And what is variance? Variance is the error introduced by the model by being too sensitive to small fluctuations in the training data. Like if I say that I gave data about spotted cows, and then I gave a prompt of a single color cow. Like I gave a black color cow and asked the machine to identify it. So if it is not identifying it as cow, so it's a bias. But what were the reasons? It was a minor reason of a color, so it is variance, because it was too sensitive to small fluctuation in training data. If in the training data I did not told the machine that cows come in single color as well, so it is a minor detail for us, but for machine it's a big problem. So this is variance. Then comes training phase involves feeding algorithm label data. So this is, I have already told you. So this is the theory and this is the photo, where input is given to the algorithm. Algorithm finds a logic, and then in logic we test by giving input, and the machine gives an output. So this is basically whatever I told you in a summarized form. So I want to ask, if anyone is facing any doubt, is voice issue is there, or you understood everything, just tell me. If there are no issues from your side, just give a thumbs down reaction. Should I proceed further? Was the uh, correct number of slides showing to you right now? Right now I'm showing slide number 4. So is fourth slide visible to you? Okay. I'm moving forward. So now there are two types of supervised learning, that is classification and regression. In classification, we have binary output like spam, not spam, yes, no, true, false. Okay. In a regression, we have a continuous variable as output, like predicting house prices. So predicting house prices, you know that it cannot be 0 or 1, it has to be a variable. Whereas in classification, you can tell that this is a spam email, this is not a spam email, this is milk, this is not milk. So this is how classification and regression are two different things. Now there are practical examples given over here, like fraud detection in bank. So, utilizing supervised learning. So yes, as I told you that we have spam emails, and like today we have so much of cyber attacks like this, that people come and like there are WhatsApp messages that your water supply is going to be stopped, your bank has been locked. So these all are fraud, and this has been uh, identified by machine, that what kind of emails are fraud and what kinds of are not. So this is how it helps in fraud detection while in banking sector. So like disease prediction. So in disease prediction, we give data where there are people suffering from that disease, and then there are people who are not suffering from that disease. So the machine learns how to uh, analyze between them, that what are the different things between a person with disease and a person with a person without that disease. So it identifies the difference, and then it can tell you what are that if you have that disease or not. Then all these things are the basically same, like stock price prediction. Yes, by with regression we can predict what kind of prices will be there in stock market, in cryptocurrency, everything. And then it comes, okay, now we'll study about machine learning algorithms. So in linear regression, so linear regression is a type of supervised learning regression algorithm that is used to predict a continuous output value. It is the simplest and most widely used algorithm in supervised learning. So in linear regression, as we are talking about regression, it provides a variable output. So in linear regression, we have a simple data which can be separated linearly. Like if I say that this thing is a dog and this thing is not, so it's a linear regression. We can easily divide it accordingly, and it can not yes or no thing. So it can basically predict continuous output value, whereas in logistic regression, it is a supervised learning classification algorithm used to predict binary output variables. So basically, that dog example was of logistic regression, whereas in linear regression, we are predicting continuous output value. And in decision tree is what we learn in binary tree. Okay, so in binary tree we go from node to node. We have branches over there, so similar pattern is shown in decision tree as well. So as it says, decision tree is a tree like structure that is used to model decision and their possible consequences. Each internal node in tree represent a decision, while its leaf represent a possible outcomes. So if you remember, we were discussing the eight tile game. So in that game, I showed you a tree-like structure where each and every possible move of tile was generating a different kind of output. So that is how we are using decision tree, that each and every move will generate a different output, and that output is uh, like shown in a tree structure, then that is decision tree. And when there are many decision tree, or we see uh, a subtree of a bigger tree, so it is a random forest. Like it say, random forest again is made up of multiple decision tree that work together in making prediction. Each tree in the forest is trained on a different subset of input feature and data. The final prediction is made by aggregating the prediction of all trees in a forest. So if we go on to make that uh, eight tile game, so there were multiple outputs from there. So if we go on making those possible outcomes, we will generate a forest. So while we are using that forest to attain one single output, so that is a random forest, and this is how we make prediction in random forest. So till here, any doubt? Arre, I'm on seventh slide. Is fifth slide visible to you now? Types of supervised learning and machine learning. So just go through it. I explained everything. Was I audible to you? Do I need to explain the fourth slide again? Classification and regression. Should I explain two types of supervised learning again? See, if you want to say no, just react thumbs down. And if you want to react yes, just react thumbs up. Simple. From now onwards, react like this. Do you want me to explain it again? See, if there is a problem, we need to resolve it. If you are not understanding anything, if there was issue, I am ready to resolve. Just tell me if you want me to explain it again. See, write in the chat box or just react. There was a problem and I'm ready to fix it. Just do it. Is it now showing examples of supervised learning? The sixth slide, examples of supervised learning. Do you want me to explain it again? It's seventh slide now. Machine learning algorithms. Is it visible? Do you want me to explain it again? See, tell me. Though we are going to study these again when I will teach you what is overfitting and underfitting. But if you want a brief intro to these algorithms today, I was giving intro to these algorithms. So if you want me to tell you again, please tell me right now. Otherwise, I will move forward. Shall I move forward? Okay. So it's now support vector machine. So support vector machines creates a hyperplane to segregate n-dimensional space into classes and identify correct category of new data points. So let's suppose I am giving you an example of cats and dogs. So now there are some dogs which have pointed ears and then there are some with floppy ears. So your machine can confuse with the pointed ears dogs to cats. So now when you can plot these things into a graph, you will see that there are some prediction which correctly predicts and then there are something which are not correctly predicted. So now you can actually plot a graph using these things where you will plot dogs and cats in the same graph. So you will find that you can make a line to it to divide that these were dogs and these were cats. So that line is known as a hyperplane. But now because there will be some data which is misclassified, to classify it better, we use support vector machine which will increase its dimension. Like if you are plotting a graph in 2D, it will plot itself into 3D to make a better classification between the two distinct data. And these datas are called support vectors in this algorithm. Then it's k nearest neighbor. KNN works to find KNN works by finding training example closest to a given input and then predicts the class or value based on majority class and average value of these neighbors. So KNN works basically on like mathematics. So we gave data like if we are predicting like if I'm going to watch a movie, so I'm predicting that what kind of movie like the movie will get a higher rating or a lower rating. So I will see that okay, my movie is a horror comedy. So what kind of comedy movies were before? How many of these comedy movie were hits? How many horror movie were hit? What were the combination of that movie were hit? So now I will input my movie and it will now see and predict values, and it will see that how much closer is it to a hit movie and how much closer it is to a flop movie. So from now there is a point generated. Let's say my movie rated 4 ratings, so it is on a hit movie site. So we will say that hit movie was a nearest neighbor to my movie's prediction. So it's a hit movie. It is going to be a hit movie. So this is how we have multiple data. We generate its outcome, and then we classify itself that the predicted value is nearest to whom. By using this assumption, we predict values in this algorithm. Then it's come boosting. So gradient boosting combines weak learners like decision tree to create a strong model. uh, it iteratively builds new model that correct errors made by previous one. So it is only to correct errors made by previous uh, models. Then it is naive based algorithm. So naive based algorithm is a supervised machine learning algo based on applying Bayes' theorem, which is naive assumption, with the naive assumption that features are independent of each other. See, we will learn naive Bayes algorithm again while we are learning overfitting and underfitting. Okay, so let's skip this. Basically, in naive Bayes algorithm, we make probability. Uh, like you have seen those probability questions where we have green balls, blue balls, black balls, and then we are uh, a- taking out a random ball. So what can it be? Like you have seen those probability questions. So we apply algorithms for like that in the same manner, and we generate the probability question in the same manner. So this is how it works. We will discuss it again. Then we it's training a supervised model. So whatever I told you is is summarized version of this. Like we first collect data and pre-process it, then we split data. So as I told you that we split data into training and testing set. So 80% of the data set is training set and 20% is kept aside as testing data set. Then we choose a model. So accordingly, yes, we will choose a model that if we want to answer in yes and no, 0 or 1, or we want a continuous value. So we choose a model according to our need. Then we train the model. We evaluate the model that how our prediction are correct or wrong. Then we make hyperparameter tuning. So we validate the data over here that if our predicted values are correct or not. Then we have a final model selection and testing. So while deploying, we give a final testing, then the model is deployed. So any doubts still here? Any doubts still here? Is the slide showing correctly? I am on ninth slide. Is it showing ninth slide? Okay, so any doubt till here? If not, thumbs down. See if you have any data, write in the chat box. If you're not willing to uh, start your mic and see, just write in the chat box. Okay, so let's move forward. So now let's talk about advantages of supervised learning. So supervised learning accurately predicts patterns because they are data driven. It is a data driven model. So supervised learning excels in accurately predicting patterns and making data driven decisions. Labeled training data is crucial for enabling supervised learning model to learn input output relationship effectively. We talked about this. So, yeah, regression and classification, we already learned about it. So, yeah, it helps in application in complex problem like image recognizing and natural language processing. We already learned how it predicts, how it classifies animals, humans, everything. So, it it is for used in there as well. So it established evaluation matrix. We will learn this thing: accuracy, precision, recall, when we are going to study overfitting and underfitting. Then advantages, yeah, it predicts accurately because we have given already labeled data, so its prediction are accurate. So yeah, because predictions are accurate, it is highly effective. So now let's talk about disadvantages. So overfitting. Uh, See, you can say overfitting. Uh, let's give you a brief about overfitting. So, what is overfitting? Overfitting, you can understand this thing like if you are using a graph and you are plotting a points. Okay, just example. Let's say uh, there is this graph. Okay, let's say it is correctly predicted x. That is correct. Okay, so it's correctly predicted, and then there is wrong. Okay, on the y-axis. So if I give example of ball, I told that the machine, a ball is a circular, uh, a sphere. So if anything is sphere, it is a ball. Okay, so I gave uh, inputs like apple, oranges, watermelon, then cricket ball, tennis ball. So there are data. Shit. So then there are data points over here that sometimes it correctly predicts, sometimes it predicts wrongly. Okay, so this is our prediction. Sometimes it predict wrong, sometimes it's predict correct, sometime in between. So I make a line. So this is underfitting. This line is telling you that your model is generating this plane. That means it is underfitting. There are very few points which are correct, which are on this line, so it is underfitting. But if I give you too many inputs, like a ball should be round, it should be 5 centimeter in radius, it should be red color ball, it should have stitchings on the ball, but uh, okay, so I give all these kinds of input. So now when I'm plotting the graph again, because there are too many uh, specifications given about a thing. So, अरे, so because I give too many specifications about a ball, like it should be red in color, it should have 5 centimeter. So it is a problem of overfitting, that the hyperplane generated over here is covering most of the points. So this is overfitting. That means the model is not correctly identifying everything. So because I told that ball should have a radius of 5 centimeter, it will not consider a basketball as a ball. But in reality, basketball is also a ball. So this is the condition of overfitting, where there are too many data, where there is too many specifications about a single thing, which confuses the machine. So this is a basic intro to what is overfitting. So this is a disadvantage of supervised learning. Okay, that it might overfit many data. Then comes feature engineering. So extracting relevant features can be time consuming. Like if I am giving too much data of a cow, it or if I give less data about a cow, So it might consider a buffalo as a cow as well. And if I give too many data about a cow, it might not predict a cow as a cow. So this is a problem where too many features or too less feature, or maybe you need to engineer all these features, how many features you should uh, consider and how much you should not. This is a problem in supervised learning. Then it comes bias in model. So yes, it can be a there is a problem of biasness in the models. As I told you, bias is an error introduced by approximating a real world problem in a simplified model. It can produce errors because of many various things. So there is a bias in the model. Then dependence on labeled data. Obviously, it is supervised learning, so it is dependent on data heavily, which is time consuming, which is costly, which is a challenge for engineers as well. Okay. So any other doubts now? Should I repeat anything? Should I explain anything again? Are you seeing the correct slide? Is there any doubt? If there is anything, write in the chat box. Or you might raise your hand if you want to speak anything. Any doubts? If no doubts, let's wrap up this class.